different pace. And when it's all said and done, be the best to ever play. Hanging plaques on my wall, only time I decorate. Gotta watch out for snakes, cause they trying to eliminate. This shit feel like Game 7. Put lines up through my S's. Wake up in the morning, count my blessings. Feel like heaven. This shit feel like Game 7. If I lose, then I'm going home.
All right, welcome back. We have another week, another crew, and another interesting Wisconsin game to talk about. We are here, Believe in Badgers, Money Down. You know all of these faces, even if it is your first time with us, if you know anything about the Wisconsin Badgers. James White, Sojourn Shelton, Warren Herring, and my man, Clint Cosgrove, back from a pod hiatus, first show back in a while, bringing the rings tonight from up north in Wisconsin.
Man, it's just, I don't know about y'all, man. Definitely disappointed. We thought we would have a potential to lose this football game, but the way it happened, it definitely wasn't pretty. For me watching it, I know probably most of you guys are definitely disappointed. Got off to a pretty decent start. I thought they were competing. Once Van Dyke went down, Locke stepped in and things looked a little bit different offensively. But man, I don't really know what much to say. Yeah. We appreciate that, Money B. But man, I just thought there wasn't much fight. There wasn't much effort going on. Once we went up 3-0, missed the field goal, then it just went all downhill from there. Obviously Alabama got a ton of talent on their football team, but I do believe that football team is not like an Alabama team of the past. They are a beatable football team. And we had opportunities over and over throughout the game to, make some big plays, whether in the run game and the pass game, miss some shots down the field and things of that nature. When you're playing those types of teams, man, you're only going to have so many opportunities to make, those big plays you got to capitalize on. It just seemed like some guys just weren't ready for the moment. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. I'm not going to act like, we're 0-3 football team. We're a 2-1 football team. So I do know there's a lot of football to be played. And I'm kind of glad it happened at this point, early on in the football season. So kind of like I said, we all were dissatisfied with what we saw those first 2 weeks. We knew, there's going to be some issues coming in this football game. Now there's some glaring issues, really going on. So you got to bye a week. Look, everybody, everything on the table, starters, freshmen. Look, we're going to start burning some red shirts, everything. I want to see who going to go out there and play, because there's some things that need to be corrected on that football team. And I'm excited to see these guys, really grow from the mistakes that happened on, today.
It's crazy. Like I seen what Coach Fickle said in the post game, and I kind of like that, right? Like, You ain't never had your ass whooped before. Motherfucker, this was it, right? Yeah, and it's not a good feeling. And you know what I'm saying? Me and Warren, we was a part of that team, right? I've been on the side where a team hung 59 on us, and it left an extremely bad taste in our mouths. For sure. But at the same time, I kind of like put it in the same time frame. We're going on a bye week. After we took that L, we were preparing for a bowl game. So you got some time to really sit on that, and that's a bad feeling to sit on just a loss like that. And granted, we kind of knew. We had our starting quarterback go out. Had a lot of stuff that we had to try to get over. But at the same time, like you said, sit on the L, get in the bye week, and hey, it's time for everybody to go. I like you said, I wouldn't be surprised. Quarterback battles, whatever it is that we got to do to get that competitive edge back. Like that was kind of the disappointing part about it. Like I don't think many people, and I'm not gonna say you always go into a game thinking you got a chance to win, right? You got to play the game, however it goes, but when a lot of people, this was like a game for us to kind of like measure, where we were at, especially the first 2 weeks that we had. This was a game where it's like, all right, now we're going to really see what we made of. And, we kind of saw that we're far behind. So now we got to just try to figure out how we can pick these pieces up and, man, get these guys back to competing in the Badger way. That's what Warren, all of us on here, that's what we know, man. I don't care what the scoreboard is. We're going to go out there and fight. And it just didn't seem like it was like that, earlier this evening.
Man, we got our ass whooped. I'm gonna keep it a being with you. I just I again, like y'all said, we didn't fight. I don't feel like we did. After the first 5 minutes of the football game, I think it kind of just like went downhill after that missed field goal. putting the ball on the ground is a problem. You can't do that in these big games, right? Like it's just it can't happen, especially against a team like Alabama. Like this is a team that's in the national conversation, national championship, college football playoff every year. So like this is our chance to, put our name in that conversation. Like even coming into the season, like nobody talks about Wisconsin, having a chance in the top 12, so on and so forth. But even if the game is close, right? You keep Alabama, to a 2-touchdown, 3-touchdown game, and we keep it close or something. That puts us even in the conversation. Like we didn't even get close to that, right? Like, and we didn't have that fight. A lot of self-inflicted wounds. One thing that we talked about last week or earlier this week was Jalen Milroe and getting him uncomfortable. Man, he was comfortable the whole game. My dog was chilling. My dog was laying in a king side, a California king, feet up, with a drink in his hand, chilling. Like we didn't create any pressure until the end of the game. It's just stuff like that. You got to be able to. And I'm very critical on the front. I'm very critical on the front seven, on the front four mainly, right? Like if we're gonna run this 2-4-5, bro, we gotta show that we can dominate in the 2-4-5 or at least be somewhat competitive. They were killing us up the middle. Like a lot of the runs were in between the tackles. Like
nothing fancy.
It was nothing fancy. It was hand that ball off, get downhill, and that's what they did. And it's just like we have to figure out or find guys, and this is the week to do it, to find guys that are gonna put their nose in there and play ball. Because right now we're not, and we look very pedestrian, in my opinion. Like I said, a lot of things to clean up. Still like the way our back seven play. Obviously, gave up a couple of big plays, but I mean, we got to find some guys that are gonna be gritty, and we just didn't do that today.
I mean, to me, there was the turnovers more than anything else. Just it was so sloppy, Clint, in that for a Badger team that needed everything to go right in order to win anyway. I mean, you look at 2 touchdowns off of turnovers, another touchdown off of the missed field goal, and just squandered opportunities left and right from a game that, while like, yes, there was a clear talent deficit, like as big a talent deficit as we've seen in a while. I still think that there were like a couple good things that did come out of this. And I think one of those things to me was that I actually felt like our offensive line held up much better, much better, and actually was back to being a strength for the first time in a while. Obviously, Joe Brunner, I thought was just dealing at left guard. And, if we're going to find some bright spot, I am always the too optimistic, the two glasses always half full for me guy. But the offensive line actually looking like they could inflict some punishment was something, at least that was one good thing to come of the game. Clint, though, I want to hear, your thoughts on sort of where, as someone who's been, who's seeing so much college football, sort of what good Badger fans can take away from this.
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, the 42-10, that's not indicative of what the game was.
No.
I came into this game, my biggest questions are offensive line play, right? They didn't show anything in those first 2 games. Wisconsin's built on offensive line. All right. So my biggest worry going into this game was, will the offensive line be able to put up with the freak shows that Alabama has up front? And I watched Joe Brunner freaking physically dominate some of those kids. He's coming off, he's blocking up to the second level, knocking a guy out at the first level, working upwards. And like that is positive. So one of my biggest questions with the offensive line, I think they answered that call today. When you play in a game like this, you can't make mistakes. I mean, we talk about it. Every single one of you talks about the talent level. I mean, you watch Jalen Milroe run in the open field. Dude ain't normal, okay? Wisconsin's never getting a player like that. It just ain't happening. It's not NIL. It's not anything else. You're just not getting a player like that, okay? That dude in the open field is not only a physical freak, that dude can run. Like, and you're watching those dudes, like Ryan Williams, he's 17 years old. And I know nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. But, like, I remember Ryan in these camps, and the kid was a freak. Like, if there was any bet in college football this week, it was Ryan Williams plus 0.5 touchdowns. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, he's going to get him one.
Yeah, like that dude's going to make a play. So when you turn the ball over, you don't give yourself a chance. Think about that. Ches Malusi rips off a big run. The worst case scenario in that instant is we punt and we put them back, right? The dude on freaking Alabama tackles the ball, puts his head on the ball. I mean, Chaz, he was high and tight in that. Like, that's not supposed to happen. So if you're going to win those games, you have to have you can't have that happen. Big plays have to be big plays. They can't be negative plays. They would have pushed them back. They're within a field goal of being a one possession game at halftime. Yeah. One possession. You take Alabama to one possession game at halftime with the talent differential that we saw there, that's a whole different deal. And so there's a lot to be positive about. Like, I saw Tackett Curtis running out there. The big thing, I thought Alabama would gash them up the middle all day, and they did. They did for a minute. But, like, Tackett Curtis, the way I saw them play together and play off, defending blocks and, scraping over the top and running and chasing and all that, like, I was impressed. Like, I don't know. I don't think the world's fallen for Wisconsin football. You'd like to see more. They're just not where we'd like them to be right now.
No, I agree with that. One thing,
you go ahead.
I was gonna say one thing that me and James talked about earlier was like at least they're establishing an identity, especially on the offensive side of the ball, right? They're running the ball more. They ran the ball a lot more. Like, you can tell that today they wanted to establish the running game, and they did that at times. Like, they were getting some gashes here. Now, obviously, that Ches Malusi fumble was tough. The K. Yakameli fumble was tough, but even K. Yakameli getting some yards. Like, those boys were running. They were running the ball. They were choosing to run the ball. It wasn't like let's take a guess on what they're going to do today, or let's take a guess on what they're going to do this play. Like, no, they were putting the ball in the hands of the running backs, and they were getting downhill. Now, obviously, you'd like to see us convert some of those 4th and shorts, maybe getting under center and letting the running back run downhill. Like, me personally, I'm not a big fan of trying to get a 4th and 1 out of the gun. That's not. I don't think that's right look. Unless you got the right look.
My biggest critique of the run game, though, was the fact that Braden Lott just wouldn't pull it when they were crashing down so hard every single time. I mean, I think, what was it, 2nd and goal, 3rd and goal, and they pulled that, and he pulls it, and he could have done a waltz into the end zone. They were crashing on.
Trying to get hit by those dudes.
Was so hard.
Now, the disappointing part for me with the Ches run was just like, they caught him misaligned. There was no defense end on that side on the little counter play they ran. It's like, make the guy miss in the open field. There's no reason to try and truck a guy, and he's sitting there waiting, flat-footed. Give him a 1-2. Like, in these type of games, you only going to get that type of run probably once for our team. So make him miss, get some more yards. I feel like he didn't have a plan at that moment. Maybe he was surprised that happened. I just wish that he would have tried to make the guy miss in that situation, because the dude just ducked. He wasn't even ready for the moment right there. He just ducked, got lucky, hit his, put his hand on the ball, and he made a fumble. So that was tough for me. And probably like the Jalen Milroe thing. I know he's a freak of nature, but to me, it felt like all game we didn't even prepare for a QB run. Like, it was like they didn't even practice. It was like, oh, what's a surprise? He out there running around, read option, jogging around the corner. I'm like, at least be prepared for the thing. Have guys in the right position. It just seemed like, I mean, not saying that the coaches didn't do it, but it just seemed like the guys just weren't aware at any point that this kid was going to hold on to the football, or they're going to have some QB draws, some read options. It just seemed at some point, especially defensively, that they weren't just aware of the situations. And it was tough. I don't think it was all bad. Like I said, we were very close, early on that football game to, making it a competitive game, at least to the second half. And then I just feel like they didn't capitalize on certain situations. I feel like they have to be more aware in those type of situations. The turnovers definitely killed us. I just thought, too, once, Tyler Van Dyke went out, I feel like the game plan kind of shifted offensively. I just feel like Longo completely we just went to just hand it off right at the middle, throw on 3rd down, hand it off, the 3rd down, throw it, which you can't do versus Alabama. Once they get a beat on that, they start sending double-edged pressure. Once you got in the red zone, there's no chance of running the football versus that. And then they're going to have talented enough corners to man up against our guys until they prove that they can go out there and win in one-on-one situations, which the only person who was doing it once again is Will Pollard. Do we have anybody else that can go out there and win in man-to-man coverage? I mean, that's what it's been for Wisconsin for a very long time. Even when we were there, like we ran the ball 1st, 2nd down. If you stopped us, we're throwing on 3rd down. You probably have 1, maybe 2 guys that can win in man-to-man coverage. If not, then it's just kind of 3 and out, that type of thing. So,
but that's who we were.
Yeah, that's
what we were. And we won with it.
We won with it for sure, because our run game and our offensive line was a lot more dominant, to what it is, currently. But right now they're trying to do an air raid type of thing. you gotta have dudes that can win. Like, look, man, when you're gonna play USC, you're gonna play Penn State, you're gonna play Oregon. Look, they're gonna line up and play man coverage on third down the entire game. You know what I mean? Until some of these guys can prove themselves, which I think all of them have talent, man. I don't know if it's like a lack of confidence or lack of confidence in the play. I mean, I don't know what it is, but I feel like those guys are talented enough to win. I don't know what the issue is. Even Benny Anthony, he made some plays today. I know, like the first 2 games, he didn't really play too much, but he got in the mix. He made some plays today. So I know the guys have the talent to do it. I don't know what's going to get them to, really take that next step. But I think this bye week is huge, man. It ain't no relaxing during this bye week for me. It's like, we gotta get to it. We gotta get guys more reps. Y'all not gonna do it, like I said earlier. Freshmen get in there. I keep mentioning Dupree. I know he got in towards the end of the game. I like the way he was running. He was putting his pass down, trying to get some yards. Look, I need to see him in the game early, like at some point, just to see if he can find a way to make some plays for us, and maybe some of the other guys too. Tretch, he got behind the DBs once again this week, overthrew him. Get him the ball earlier in the football game. See if he's gonna make a play for us. So I just want to see different guys get in the mix and see who's willing and able to make plays for us, even defensively. Maybe mixing some different defensive linemen in there. Maybe they need to blitz more to create more pressure. I'm not sure because the pressure definitely wasn't there earlier in the game. I mean, Milroe was chilling. Like he was sitting back there. He was sitting back there, finding his reads. If there's nothing there, then I'm gonna just go scramble. So
I don't think we sacked Milroe at all. It came at the end of the game.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I mean, we know if you that's Bama's strong suit.
Yeah.
And I mean, especially this year, I want to say, damn it, their whole line is almost projected to either going between those first one or 2 rounds. James, you talk about getting guys like what do we see? What do you want to see this? I know it's a bye week. What do you want to see in the bye week that's going to give you confidence as far as us moving forward? Because stuff, you just don't go into it 1 week and you're like, yeah, I'm going to go with this guy and just start throwing passes. You know what I'm saying? Or drawing up stuff, which I mean you really could, but at the same time, it just feels like week 1 and 2 was the time for us to be figuring out who the hell is the person we're gonna be trying to go to besides Will Pollin. And then I was like, we get into this Bama thing, and I know it's some bright spots, but the fumbles and stuff, that's football, right? Like it's plenty of games that we've all been in where it's like, damn, if we would have did this, we could have been more competitive. Or damn, we would have did this, we could have won that game. That's how football is. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to adjust to the things that happen in game. So I know we're going into a bye week, and I know we have a lot of things to figure out, but it's just like, damn, this stuff we should have already been working on this stuff before even getting to this point.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure what they got to do. But I mean, look, I'm sure coming into the season, they had their guys that they already knew was going to be this. And then, maybe had some freshmen that they weren't sure what they can get from. And they're just going to stick with because it's pretty much essentially the same guys as last year towards the end of the season. Bryson Green, Will Pollin, CJ Williams in there a little bit, yada, yada, yada. Then you got Ches at running back. I just think like now, once you faced a real football team, you saw real competition. It's like, okay, well, maybe we might have to find some other people that could get in this mix. A lot of good on good, ones versus ones. Throw some of these freshmen in there. I mean, I don't know how long Van Dyke's going to be in there. Get the young freshman, get him competing, battling with Braden Locke, see if he can, do something. Because, hey, I feel like everything's on the table at this point. You know what I mean? We're going into year 2, new staff and everything. I do think we got to give them some grace, but I feel like they got to light a fire up under these players somehow. I think the most of all is this competition. I
think Tyler here in the comments has, it posed an interesting question. Do you think the Badgers should do just what the Packers didn't say? Just throw all the kids out now and give them reps and get them ready essentially for what, could be, throw them to the Wolves and get them ready for 2025. Or does that?
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, that's tough. What was you saying, Clint?
I was saying there's no reason to redshirt a kid nowadays. You're trying to out-recruit
right
player who comes in there. It's like you get 4 games. I don't care if you get like I'm all about the kids and I'm all about everything. The thing that you worry about in these big games is, do we put Darian Dupree in there on third down where he has to make a big time block, or do we only put him in where we're going to hand him the ball? Now, Darian Dupree, the biggest difference in a game like this is like, do we have a home run hitter when we are down? We flip the field with somebody. Your Darian Dupree's, those are the guys you have who can do it. So there is the young talent there, and that makes you excited. But as a coach, you're always thinking, I put him out there and I get the quarterback killed. Come on now. After Tyler Van Dyke goes down, and then you see what's his freaking lock hit like he did. Like
he got smacked.
Who's next?
He got hit.
I mean, who's next? I remember when Sorgi and Bollinger were out, and we're like, who's next against Ohio State? And then Shaver goes in there and drops a dime. You know, that was one play that like changed a lot of stuff. But like, who is next? So you've got to change your game planning from that perspective. We cannot lose this guy. I was impressed with how Locke obviously prepared mentally. He's not getting the reps that everybody else is getting throughout the week. He came in there, you know, he's played some games. He's had some stats. He's had some success, but it's, you know, it becomes a risk versus reward when you're playing a team like Alabama. We've got the young talent that eventually is going to be there, right? Do we put him in now and maybe risk a fumble or a turnover? I mean, when things aren't going great, I think you do, you know? And you need to turn
the ball over now anyway.
I mean, but I don't think you completely like
players are the game breakers. So, you know, in the normal game, maybe you don't, but like against Alabama, let's throw it to the
win. What's the harm? What's the harm? You ain't got no lose. Yeah, games like this, 100%. Get the young guys a go and see who's hungry to play. See what they can do. You know, I don't think you just like completely shift and start like getting guys developed for 2025 because this is still a real season for us. I mean, you know, obviously this game didn't look like we wanted to, but who knows? Guys come out of this game, they have a great bye week, and then next year, you know, we start boom, 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 you know, winning. Like, you never know how things change. I'm just speaking hypothetically. I saw the way you look. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but I'm just saying it's a possibility. Like, guys can, you know, get after getting beat like that hits your pride. Like, guys might, you know, you can change your mindset and things might be able to change, you know, open up playbooks, so on and so forth. But I don't think you just completely start overhauling and wait, you know, and get guys prepared for the 2025 season. It'd be different if we was like midway and we were like 2-5 and things look real bleak. But guys do get 4 games before they get redshirt. So even in games like this, even next, you know, in 2 weeks from now, like start getting guys some snaps. You got 4 games, see what they can do. Why not?
I mean, the kids probably, I mean, shoot, they're gonna probably try and transfer anyway, some of them. So might as well. I'm throwing you out.
and you know what's crazy? Like, you know, I don't want to try to, you know, shift the whole conversation, but like I made a statement earlier on Twitter and everybody is coming in on me on about like, you know, how it's not about NIL and all this stuff like that. And I just want to pose this to us, you know, and just hear what you guys say. Even the star players that we do have, right? Like, I'm gonna just throw it out there, like, you know, Xavier Lucas. Like, it's to the point now where I feel like we have to start being competitive. That's why I say, like, you know, the young kids, put them out there and play, because even the top dogs that you have, college football is totally different now. You best believe teams like Bama, Georgia, they looking at all your top dogs, and I'm making that call, or however it is that you get in contact with players or whatever it is. I don't know how. I don't want to put nothing out there. You know what I'm saying?
Clint,
And I'm reaching out, and I'm saying, you know, for like an Xavier Lucas, or, you know, for the young guys that we got that aren't getting burned, like, hey, bro, I see what your situation is. Like, there's stuff over here, and you have to go year by year making the right decisions and playing these young guys, because now I don't have to sit out a year if I want to transfer, right? Like, I can just dip and go, and there's no repercussions to it. So I think it is very important that we start playing our young guys, especially how the season's been going. I know you said, like, just thinking about, you know, maybe, you know, this week, you know, certain guys it'll start to click. I want to say this, Warren, and I'm not saying that's not possible, right? But week 1 barely winning, or, you know, winning the way we did, and week 2 winning the way if that don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that'll fire you up. Yeah, I know getting your ass kicked will definitely fire you up, but at the same time too, just knowing all the work that you put in, you know, winter workouts, summer workouts, fall camp, and then you barely beating certain teams, that should be more motivating than anything. If I don't come out this following week, we're gonna get our ass kicked. And I'm just being honest.
Yeah,
like,
I agree with you.
We got a bye week this week. If I'm not mistaken, we go to USC. We go to USC. play around. It's gonna be you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be the same thing.
I agree with you. I was just saying, like, I don't think we should just like automatically just start developing and preparing for 2025. That's all I was saying. But yeah, get a young guy some tick and burn now. Like from what we've seen, if things ain't changed week 1, week 2, week 3, something needs to change. So 100% play them young guys. Give them a chance, see what they got. But I'm just saying, like, we ain't got to start looking off into 2025 and being like, okay, now let's just only play our young guys. Let's just make it complete. That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying.
I mean,
I agree with you.
I kind of said it last week. It's just, it ain't even that they got to start. It's just like create a package for them. Like give them like, okay, like, you know, whatever. Xavier, you gonna take the next 2 series or whatever, or you gonna play a dime, or you gonna play a nickel, or Dupree, you gonna play whatever. We got a certain package for you, certain plays, just to, you know, throw them out there, see if they get it done, give them some confidence, and then maybe some sparks from them. Even with Tretch, I feel like he's like one of those quick twitch guys that we have. We don't have many of them. Look, get him a jet sweep, get him a bubble screen or something. Just let him get the ball in his hands and let him work. I feel like a lot of that's missing in our offense, in the air raid type of offense. I feel like a big part. I know it's taking shots and all that, but it's just getting the ball to your playmakers in space. I don't see a ton of that, you know, in our offense right now. I know everybody, we want to see the shots down the field. I want to see them dudes just get the ball in their hands and let them work somebody one-on-one and call it a day. Because right now we ain't got that down the field game, so let's switch it up. Look, short game. I know in New England, like, look, most of our pass game was 5 yards and under. Look, get the ball to your playmakers. You know, make it happen. Maybe that's what our offense needs to be right now, because them dudes not creating a ton of separation. I do think as far as the play calling, like right now with everything, defense, offense, bye week, getting to some self-scout. Like, look, right now, what we doing right now is not working. It's not flourishing right now. We gotta change something, like defensively, offensively, especially with the run defense, pass offense. I feel like the run offense has been okay. I feel like the pass block has been decent. Just like as far as the pass offense, they gotta switch it up a little bit. I don't know. Like,
what happened to the 3-3-5? We don't even run that no more. Bruh, to be honest, I'd much rather run that right now and get 3 big bodies on the field and let the linebackers fly. Then this 2-4-5.
They don't have 3 big bodies.
Yeah.
Bro, no, they don't.
You want to talk about bully? We'll definitely begin.
Yeah, but I mean, you get what I'm. At least get some body and just have them take up blocks. Like you got a nose, or you got a 0 tech, and you got 2 4 eyes. I mean, take up space, do something. Like right now in a 2-4-5, we not getting it done. So
I mean, they're getting abused on the interior. That's for sure.
But that's what I'm saying. Like at that point,
I don't even know. Like, I mean, they're giving like. We saw them go. We saw Dylan Johnson get a fair bit of reps today.
And I enjoyed that.
I enjoyed him. I think you want to talk about throwing freshmen into the fire. I think you got to throw him into the fire, Clint, because like at least he's a wrestler. He's strong. He is a term Clint taught me, sawed off when it comes to his build. And I feel like he at least when he's in there feels a little bit more disruptive. But again, like he also looks light. He also looks like a wrestler where he needs another 25 or 30 pounds, because I just feel like everyone's getting washed down all the time.
I mean, his brother grew 4 inches and put on 40 pounds in college. So you never know what happened to Dylan.
Yeah, man. I think defensively, I think a lot of times we just line it up and run it too. I feel like we don't cause no confusion, like nothing. I feel like I thought that's what this defense was going to be built off of, was causing confusion, lining guys up certain places. You know, I didn't see Hunter Waller move around a ton today. Like mix it up, send guys on blitzes. Because right now this line up and run it, that's not really working. We're gonna have to do something else, like send some pressure a little bit more. You know, I'm not sure, man. And
it's tough though, James. It's tough, and I want to say that just because I mean that is what Jalen Milroe presents. You know what I'm saying? Like, and every team has that chess piece. You know, I kind of look back to like when I was playing, and I'm not comparing Jalen Milroe to him, but he presents the problems that like Braxton Miller presented, right? Sure. Like you just can't. You know, you can send blitzes, but at the same time, it's at your own risk. And you talking about guys. You're talking about guys on the outside for Bama that can make some plays and can go on the outside. So from the standpoint of just like what the call, it's the chess match, and you guys know it. I mean, that chess match between OCs and D coordinators. Like it's always if I can get you at getting this look, and it's that I got you. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes there's nothing you can do about it, and I think that's what Jalen Milroe presents. I know we talked about earlier, like he just seemed like, you know, either we didn't game plan for it, which I'm sure we did. I mean, we know who he is. he just seemed extremely comfortable back there. But it's like, I mean, it's tough when you got to account for that QB because you're taking somebody out of the back end or, from somewhere else. And you're playing teams that present so many challenges. It's tough.
But the nice thing about this, about sending, disguises and things like that is he has to make a decision quick, right? Like you bring in a backer, extra backer up the middle, or you bring in a blitz and safety off the edge, or whatever it may be. Like he has to see that and make a decision quick. Like he's not sitting back there just holding the ball and then make you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just saying, speed up his process, make him speed it up. Get him
not every time, sometimes,
not every
right?
time, but like you know what I'm saying? Like there's at 3rd and 8. Great opportunity to do that.
Opportunity.
You know what I'm saying? 2nd and long. Great opportunity to do that. Just mix it up. Throw it in there every now and then. Even if you do it once a set of downs or something like that. Just do something that's going to keep his timing off and his rhythm off, so on and so forth. And we just didn't do that.
It's tough, man. But like I said, hey, they got a week off. Like I said, need to be a big self-scout week for me. That's what I want to see. Coaches, everybody getting, hey, look, Fickle, check them coaches too, not just them players. Check them OCs. Yeah, DC. Yeah. Look, man, it's real. It's real now. Like, everybody has some question marks 2 weeks now after seeing this, getting beat down. Like, we ain't got beat down like that at the crib. I don't think ever.
I think
I've never.
It's
like,
been a while.
Been there.
I understand Alabama and all that, but I don't care. Like, we don't get beat like that. Like in your own house, student section cleared out after the 3rd quarter. Like I ain't never gone completely. Like I haven't seen that. Whatsoever, man. I got a lot of fire up, up underneath everybody, and it's great too. You're not getting a cupcake team, when you come off of this bye, we get another good football team. So you got to come with it. You got to come with it, man. So, I don't know how y'all feel about going forward, man.
and you talk about self scouting, and I don't want to put in, but it's like I want to say that I know Coach Fickle and the staff done self scouted. You had to, because it's the same. Because it's the same thing from last year, right? Like, I mean, if you really can look back, like we talked about air raid offense. Okay, year 1, you probably go through
filling
it out. Here it is, year 2, and I don't want to talk bad about any coaches or anything, but it's like it's a whole bunch of people that I myself included, that's like, where's the air raid offense? Like, where's some of the stuff at? So the self-scouting part, obviously, you got to in the bye week, but it's like I'm positive you had a whole off season to try to figure out what you had to figure out and what was wrong, what was right. And it just seems like the same stuff. So I don't know if it's much you can change right here on the fly within a week, but I mean, it's worth a shot, I guess. But at the same time, man, this is stuff that we should have been working on week 1 and 2. Like I think those first 2 games, we lost valuable, I won't say reps or, just experience and trying to see what works. But we lost a lot of time, within those games, I guess, just trying to get a W in the column.
Yeah. I got one ass, bro. I just want to see one jet sweep next in 2 weeks. I just want to see it, just as a change.
Touch pass, a little.
Bro, we used to run that. I mean, people still run that jump today, and it worked.
Oh,
we used to run that like it was night and day, and catch people, and we
fake it or something like
fake it, do something. But I guarantee you give it to Trek, you give it to Will, or you put a running back in a slot. You give it to a Darian Dupree on a motion, like. Try it out. You never know. Like, get some explosive plays, things that people ain't seen.
Yeah. I said Zach put up a little, he popped his comment in there, Perk. So do you even have any offensive identity? Feels like we bounce between forcing the run and trying to. No, I feel like we don't. I mean, right now, I would say the strength right now is our run game, which is fine. And look, I think we need to be more creative with it. I feel like today was just a lot of downhill, either duo, inside zone. Wasn't anything, too many counters, misdirections. No shifts, no motions to kind of, mess with the defense. That's what when we were running heavy, run game when we were there, there was a lot of shifts, motions, really giving the defense different action, but it was really the same thing at the end of the day. Right now, it's just kind of line up, hand it off. It's like you got to do, a little bit more of that. I think we need to shift the motion a ton. I know they just kind of like line it up and run it right now. I think shifts and motions can help the quarterbacks, can help the running backs, receivers, whatever it may be. I know. Soj said it a few weeks ago as far as what Will Paulin too, put him in motion.
Motion is that?
Motion them, that can create some extra separation, even for some of the other guys. If they can't create separation on the line of scrimmage, motion them. Get them back them, back the defenders off. Challenge their communication. Maybe that'll get some guys running, wide open down the field. Alabama did it. I mean, got tight ends running up the seam, wide open, whatever it may be. I know they got some guys and they won like in one-on-one situations and everything like that, which is tough. I know they probably have some better athletes on the outside than some of the corners that we may have. I know that's the type of challenge that these teams present, but you're going to have to come with it, man. I just thought once Alabama took the lead, I feel like guys were just deflated. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, all right, it's a wrap now. It's like, we can't think like that, man. Just keep competing. Because at one point we got like 10 points. It was like 28-10. Like, it was still kind of a reach, or 24-10, like a reachable football game. And then it's like a blown coverage up the sideline, and boom, it's like it's over. It's like, damn, like y'all in striking distance. It's still
Miss Deep ball the track that was wide open.
Yeah.
The thing, James, I think we texted about this today was, what did Belichick talk about? The middle 4, the middle 8, something like that.
Yeah, in the half. Yeah,
and right around halftime. And what happened today? Wisconsin misses a field goal. Alabama goes 73 yards in 2 plays for a touchdown. Gets the ball second half and scores again immediately. Yeah. That's a 17-point swing in some way, shape, or form, right? And so that is completely crushing. And I don't know if that is bad coaching, if that is bad mentality, or if that is just plain old athletes, because Ryan Williams is a freak.
Yeah, and like, dude's 106, 107 now and 12 or something. Yeah, like a lot of people, especially on the road in Alabama situation, like we'll just out athlete them.
Yeah,
and we'll just kneel down and go into halftime. They're like, "Yo, I'm gonna drop some stuff." Yeah. I'm gonna put mine on the top. I mean, like, dude, like, I got a different type of athlete, and that's how Kalen. I mean, that's how he approaches the game. I've known Kalen for a long, long time. He's a phenomenal coach, but like, I don't know if I'm Alabama, I'm probably downing the ball before halftime. But he knew they could do it. They could do it in 2-3 plays, and then he watch it. That the dime that Milroe dropped to that corner for that touchdown.
Perfect.
That was a play. Like, you got to have playmakers to do that. Wisconsin doesn't have those type of playmakers right now. Maybe if they got them in the youth league,
We better
coming up.
I got one. I'm reaching out to.
Clint, we better figure out how to get them.
Yeah,
I know people. Yeah. And it's so crazy. Like, man, it's a lot of people saying like, that's not. Man, that's 100% of the game these days, man. Yeah. And James, we know who it is.
Yeah.
Hey, Clint, I'm sure you probably know who it is, and we tell you the motherfucker good. Yeah. But you want to know something? You know what he gonna want? He gonna want the NIL.
And money. When I take my money.
Give me my money.
This is what I was thinking, right? Everybody's like, oh, like NIL is too much and all this stuff. Like, there's a whole bunch of teams doing things totally different than just giving a kid $500,000 or whatever it is. Utah, for an example, Utah gave all their kids on scholarship trucks. If I'm a kid, I'm just saying, damn, that's pretty dope.
Sweet.
Like,
that's
pretty sweet. Dude, BYU gave the walk-on scholarships. There are so many ways you can win this NIL, and it doesn't have to be money from Quick Trip or whatever it is. There are so many ways you can do this.
Yeah, you can do it. Like, I'm making sure their parents get to every game, make sure they got their flights, whatever it may be. It's little stuff, you know what I mean, to make them feel good.
Ohio State, the dude from Bama that transferred to O State, he gave everybody beats. The quarterback from Oregon gave everybody chains. Like, whatever it is that you can figure out, what can get guys. Shoot,
young dudes, they love that.
Hey, that whole value too now.
Yeah.
I'm saying? So, like, I feel like we got to figure out a way. I don't know, what we have as far as like in state. I know Harley Davis is in Wisconsin. I don't know if it started there, but like you gotta find
John Deere. Hey, hey,
American Family Insurance.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, we gotta figure out a way because we are slipping behind, and it's rapid and it's fast. Like, I know people sitting there and saying like, yeah, but in a little bit I look at Nebraska as the perfect example, right? And we're talking about Matt Rule being in year 3. If I'm not, this is year 2. Yeah. This is year 2.
And same with Fickle, yep.
Same with Fickle. and he's able, and they've taken big jumps. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that we can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that we can't get there, but we got to figure it out because in a little bit, it's going to be hard for us to walk into these kids' houses and say, and meet their families and say, hey, we can provide this for you, and we're not going to have anything that's going to decipher us from what Nebraska can offer, what Maryland can offer. Like,
they get a great education.
A great, you come on, bro. and I'm not saying in the grand scheme of things, bro. I promise, I'm not saying education, it does not matter.
No, it's no, for sure.
But at the same time,
not trying to hear that these days.
Kids trying to hear it.
Nebraska's going to offer the same education.
Well, no.
No. Y'all sitting there, I'm telling you. Like,
you're absolutely right.
In the grand scheme of things, it might. Get
that degree. That's
at this point nowadays, you just need to get your degree. And obviously, I mean, you have tier of schools, but when I'm saying the tier of schools, like A-tier schools, Michigan, Ohio State, those are all powerhouse universities. You get that degree from any of those schools, you probably good at some point. So we're gonna have to figure out more to just be saying like, hey, you can get a degree from the University of Wisconsin, or you can come on the terrace and sit there and enjoy the summer. All these schools got nice places to kick it at during the summer. All these schools present a lot of upside and things like that. And right now we have nothing to decipher those from those big schools. And we're still behind.
Didn't pick Nebraska over Georgia.
Oh. There you go. It cut out. It cut out what you said.
The degree was better.
No, not at all. Not at all. He had the family ties, and then he got that moolah at the end of the day. So
shout out to Donovan.
Yeah. So it's tough, man. I mean, I'm hoping the boys have a tough, sitting there tonight. They're letting that sting. Hopefully that motivate them going forward, man. I ain't gonna write them off just yet.
No, not at all.
I got a lot of good games left to really them to show us what they really are. Hey, but it's gonna be a telling season. I will say that,
y'all boys.
Yeah, I want to win for sure. I mean, all of us, we definitely want to win. I want to see them be better. I want to see them be better, dog. And like I said, they got some guys. I don't know if they need some extra motivation. I don't know what Fickle got to do to motivate these young players. I don't know what it is these days, like to get them going. I don't know. I don't know if y'all got any ideas of what they could do to get these guys, back on track.
When you hang out in not in a creepy way, but with more 17-year-olds than anyone I know. So this is a perfect question I have for you.
Well, yeah. If you went into my phone, you'd be like, "Why are all these young kids?" Have every photo in your album. It's either my son or kids in sandbag. So what motivates them? You know what? Everyone thinks it all comes down to NIL. NIL is a big part of the deal, right? But you can get NIL anywhere. There's a dude who's going to Miami of Ohio who might get more NIL than a better player who goes to Wisconsin. So it's like, how do you put that out there? How do you build a brand for yourself? How do you make sure that your program is building a brand for a player? And I look at some of the guys, some of the teams who don't have a lot of NIL money. But what they're doing is if you go and click on their profile on the roster, it brings you to their Open Doors profile where they can get paid. There are ways to make it in this day and age without having a big bankroll. Now, you might have to pay for a big-time quarterback. That's today's day and age,
Do it.
And
Do it.
If you want to win football games, you got to have a good quarterback. If you go into 2 games, you're like, I know nothing about these teams. But I'm going to take the dude who's a baller at quarterback. I guarantee you win 90% of what you're betting on. Yeah. That's just how it is. I mean, Milroe's a great example. And I'm not saying Bama paid him to go there. They did not. Now he's getting paid now, But
look at Cam Ward.
Yeah. I'm just look. Cam Ward was paid.
He for sure paid Miami.
I mean, yeah,
money.
But that's what money gets you. That's what money gets you.
But you know what? Develop players, find good young ones, get them engaged early, make them proud of the program, make them feel part of the program, and I do think Wisconsin can do that. I'm not just an apologist or anything like that. I'm probably harder on Wisconsin football than anybody because I grew up in the Barry Alvarez days. It's like I expected to be like that every day. You know, my dad coached on those teams. I grew up around those teams. I was around Ron Dane. I was around Brent Moss. Like, I remember what it was like. And you can still do that. It's just you got to be very strategic. And I think Wisconsin can do it. Maximus Steneker, he does a phenomenal job. He connects with players. I think the coaching staff, there's stuff you'd like to see more of, obviously. And I'm not going to criticize anybody on any coaching staff unless I don't like them because of but what I'm saying is, like, I'm not ready to give up on this team. I do think that we make too big of a deal about NIL because we can do with what we have. We can get the players we need. For sure. I'm just saying I'm going to do it the right way. I mean, Oklahoma State, like, Gundy's like, hey, tell your agents to start calling me in the offseason. Football season started. We're done right now. You know, like, that's the college game. So, like, but find a way. If you're deficient in an area, you find a way to overcome that. And that's what great teams do. That's what great coaches do. That's what great programs do. So I don't care if it's NIL. I don't care if it's academics. I don't care if it's opportunity for playing time. You find what you're deficient in, you fix it, and you bring the right people in to win a championship. And that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, you find a way to fix your problems. I do believe the staff can do it. I do believe they have the NIL resources. And I do believe the future is bright. It's just they have to execute every step of the way.
Yeah. You brought up Oklahoma State, right? And, you know, when I say I disagree with what you said, it's from the standpoint of I look at all the teams that's in the Big Ten now. You know, and all the teams that are in the Big Ten are heavy NIL players. I mean, heavy within the NIL. You know what I'm saying? You look at like USC, Oregon. Phil Knight just told him, I don't care what you
Oregon pay for play.
Pay for play, right? Like you look at Ohio State, like you're talking about 4 receivers that was damn near the number one, 3-4 receivers that was damn near the number one player.
3 of them played on the same 7-on-7 team. South Florida
Express product, man. But you're talking about, 3 guys that, Ohio State gave them, they had to handle that some type of way, whatever it is. And I just think for us is when they got there, but we have to jump into this pool and this play and figure it out. Like you said, it's different ways that you can finagle it, but we have to jump into that because the teams in our conference that are recruiting the same areas as us, recruiting the same players as us, that is what they're bringing to the table. And it's just hard. Honestly, it's hard for a kid that's in, I don't know, Ohio or Wisconsin even. Like, there's some players that leave the state and they go to, Ohio State or Iowa or those type of schools. And it's like, we can't lose those players. We got to get those players. But these are the schools that are presenting NIL problems or friction between us, and we got to figure it out.
But I don't think that the geographical, you don't have the same geographical advantage you once did because it is so much easier to get information about schools that are geographically far away, much more so now, even than when y'all were being recruited, especially when Clint was playing, right? Like, it was, how were you going to learn about a place that was outside of your region when you were relying on mail, right? Like, unless you are like an All-American who's been written about in a bunch of newspapers and crap like that, are you being found? Whereas now every single kid has their film on Huddle from their first snap grade.
Exos.
It's not the same. So I think the build the border at this point is a fallacy. I don't think that is impossible. You are not going to be able to completely dominate the state of Wisconsin in recruiting like you once did because there are just more options for everyone.
But I will say this, though. We got to at least try. And we got to at least try. And, James, we know who the player is and we're not going to say whatever it is. But, like, James made a comment and the dude said, tell him recruit me. So that's – and – I don't want to get too, what I'm saying? I don't want to, we'll talk about it,
we'll talk.
But for somebody of that caliber to saying, like recruit me, it just give me the feel like we're not even trying. Just because he's a 5-star, even just because he's a 5-star or 4-star.
And we got a player from his high school already.
Like, I would be telling them, hey, holla, and just see what's up. Like, at least give us a chance, or at least give us a chance to, have a conversation and see where it goes. But when a player says, tell them recruit me, that means they ain't even trying. So we missing out on the players like and it's not this person, but we missing out on the players like the Jeremiah Smiths. We're missing out on those type of players because we're not even trying. We don't even know if we can get them.
But like,
Jeremiah trying to get to that league. Y'all, we talking about academics and stuff. No, he trying to get to that.
He trying to get that contract.
I do think I got to give a shout out to obviously my guy Thomas Hammock, who I'm helping coaching at NIU, helping with their players. He's a big thing that he's still trying to do with his football team is develop players. I think at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
We got to continue to recruit these kids at the high school level and develop them into the players that they're going to become. At the end of the day, like you can get transfer this, transfer that. We see with schools like Colorado, that's not going to be the only answer for you. You got to have freshmen come in from high school. You got to develop them and help them become those stars that that turns to big players in your program. So to me, that starts with the quarterback position. So hopefully a guy like Marbury, hopefully he is a player that develops into something special, because we can't just keep having transfer quarterbacks come in every year. That ain't gonna work. We need a guy to come in as a freshman, be there for at least 3 years, because I think that's what help shift the program. You got to have a guy that's gonna be there for 3 to 4 years that can make some receivers try and transfer. I'm like, okay, they got a freshman quarterback. He's gonna be there for the next few years. Maybe I'm a little bit more confident coming to Wisconsin because I know a quarterback is going to be there for the next several years. So I think that's a huge part of it.
With that being said,
I think that's where we
question.
That's where we lacking. Like,
was Mabry
that guy though?
Yeah. Was Mabry a 4-star?
Yeah, he was a 4-star.
Yeah. But to your point, James, with that being said, like, let's not just go and recruit anybody. Like, let's get the cream of the crop, right?
Yeah,
let's
for sure.
But I'm agreeing with you. Like, definitely want to develop your players and things like that. But let's go attack the cream of the crop. Let's go get the 4 stars, the 5 stars, the ones that have, are in those, heavy football areas, the ones that put it on tape. Like, I don't want to continue to try to find a diamond in the rough, right? Like, you don't want to do that every year. Oh, this guy maybe, and again, like, depending on the area and things like that, you might have to do that if you find somebody of that caliber or whatnot. But let's go get the 4 stars and 5 stars, the highly touted, the number 1 ranked quarterback, the number 1 ranked dual threat, the number 1 ranked pocket pack. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. So let's go try it. Let's at least attempt it.
I think you'll still like. I know our program is built off, you know what I'm saying? Like blue collar, what was fly? I know our program is built off,
Here, Florida, man.
The bugs everywhere.
Yeah, year round too. I used
to we got them.
I used to love that about Wisconsin, man. Wintertime, I don't know where them flies and stuff
going away right now.
Y'all be good. But I know our program was built off blue collar players, hardworking players. Some walk on players. I think that can still stay the same, right? You can keep that still built within the program.
That could be your core.
That can be your core, but I still think you have to go out and at least attempt and try to get some of the big time players, because we are a school that can present. You're gonna play in big time games. You're gonna play on, you're gonna play on ESPN, whatever channel you want to play on. You're gonna play in those type of games. You're gonna play top level competition, especially with how the Big Ten is formed now. I just think we truly have to at least try and at least attempt to grab some of these guys, because we do have stuff that we can get to entice players to come. I will say it's gonna be hard. One position I think like we really got to improve on or figure out where we going, in the future is the receiver spot, right?
Defensive line.
And I think defensive line
for sure.
Defensive line and receiver. And I just feel like it's so tough. I think defensive line will be easy for the simple fact that our history with defensive linemen and linebackers and those edge rushers, we got history of. We'll put you in the league, or we'll get you in the right positions to make plays and give yourself that opportunity. I think right now, if we walk into a kid's, house, or even come to like transfers to come in, it's extremely hard to try to persuade a receiver to come to the University of Wisconsin right now. Especially I don't know the last time we had 1,000-yard receiver. It might have been
Alex Erickson, QT.
Alex Erickson, maybe.
Hey, I don't know. Pauling's a deserving 1,000-yard receiver.
Oh, for sure. 100%. For sure.
Like Paul's one dude who you could walk out there with Alabama and you'd be like, oh, he plays for them.
Oh, he reminds me of like a Jalen Waddle. Like, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that we should be taking advantage of. I said this a couple weeks ago. We should be putting him in motion and seeing, if he can get those mismatches, or even if you can get a defender just to think for a second. I know for me, I hated bunch. I hated bunch formation.
You got to think.
You gotta think. I hated bunch situations. You hate playing teams like Iowa that's gonna line up in this, and at the snap of the ball, you done been disguising the defense for this long, and then boom, at the last minute they shift into something else, and now they running play action and they going.
Brody, that explode the formation that we used to do. Like, I hated that in practice, bro. I hated going against that in practice. And we used to do that all the time. And we used to do that during the season, and that jump works. And it throws people off. Yeah. You go in with a 12 personnel, they don't expect you to spread out and gun. Next, you got 2 tight ends lined up in the slot. You know what I'm saying? It's just.
And it's matchups too. If you got 2 tight ends out on the field, you got linebackers on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're taking corners
and
out.
You add 2 extra gaps. I mean, like, as a defensive coordinator, the 2 things you hate are extra gaps and a quarterback that can run. Extra gaps, extra responsibilities. Quarterback that run means it ain't 11 on 10 anymore. It's 11 on 11, and if that dude's a better athlete than your dudes, you done.
Man.
Yeah, man. We need to figure out a way to get some receivers, and I don't know how, because it's gonna be tough, but we need some.
The last 1,000-yard receiver for the Badgers was Jared Abbrederis in 2013.
Wow.
Madison Memorial.
There are only
sticks.
There are only 3 players in the history of the school who have gone for 1,000 yards in the season. Jared,
Lee Evans, Chris Chambers.
Nope.
Altoon.
Definitely Lee.
Lee is one of them.
Okay.
Abbrederis is one. And who's the third?
Altoon, no.
Not Chris. Brandon Williams.
Brandon Williams.
Brandon Williams.
Be Will. Shout out, Be Will.
But
Be Will be talking shit.
Yeah,
he do.
I will say
recruits.
when it comes to the recruiting stuff, I do think Fickle's name holds enough weight, like in this college football stuff, to try and lure some of these guys. So I do think that. So I hope that helps. Like, as far, he came from Ohio State, went to Cincinnati, took his team there, so he knows how to get some of those guys. You know what I mean? So I'm not really selling him short to as far as the recruiting wise. I do think he's starting to recruit a little bit differently than what they did when we were there, which is good. They're reaching out all over the globe, which is really good, but they just have to find the right pieces in order to do what they're doing.
And that's one thing. Is this is only his 2nd year, so he's still going through a previous recruiting class, so on and so forth. So, I am interested to see what happens when he gets his full I've recruited all these guys, just to see what it looks like.
Yeah. For sure.
Not to say that the guys that we already have aren't talented, because they are. Let me preface that. Guys we have are talented. The guys that Coach Chris brought in are talented, right? But I would love to see what Fickle brings in too.
Yeah, sure.
Man. Hey, Clint, what kind of suggestions or answers do you think we, as far as just recruiting, or what did you feel like we need to improve on to get better and fix this ship as soon as possible?
Yeah, I would say the identity piece that I think everybody's touched on that. What is the identity? All right. Are we a 3-3-5? Or are we a 2-4-5? We're playing to what we have in the program right now. 3-3-5, I'm telling you, you can get gash and all that stuff. But if you got physical guys like Tackett Curtis, playing in the middle, who are safety type bodies, it creates a ton of confusion for the offensive line. They are double counting, and James, you know this, especially with being Belichick. When these dudes got to have to double count everything,
you can fucking double count as much as you want.
So I think, one, you find that identity. If you don't have the players to do it, you make do, which I think they are doing right now. You got to play the young players. They're going to have to come around, because if you want to be a championship team, and this is the thing that I'm very careful about. Because in year 2, especially you're at Wisconsin, winning program, you're a big-time coach, all right, who is supposed to come in and compete for championships right away. So you have this pressure to be like, oh, we need to win now, and we need to do it this way now. You can't get so caught up on that. I mean, Barry Alvarez, 1-10, 5-6, 5-6. You don't get to do that nowadays. 10-1-1 year 4.
Yeah.
All right. You don't get to do that. So you have to find your identity. You have to recruit to it. I think there's some very good young players. I mean, like Chris Brooks, he's a physical specimen. He hasn't seen the field much already. All right. He's a guy who could like an H, another St. Louis dude, Tretch, he's a weapon. You just got to use him effectively. I think we were handcuffed today because of the quarterback injury. Who's next? That next guy wasn't prepared. You're handing the ball off every down if Locke goes down. So I think they continue at the caliber that they have. The one thing that they're going to have trouble with, and they did this with Darian, though, is they're going to sign guys early, or not sign, get commits early from big-time players. Darian, I remember having a conversation with him and his dad a couple weeks before signing day. Alabama came in. Alabama was the dream school, okay? I don't provide direction for anybody. They make their own decisions, but they said, I feel home at Wisconsin because of the job Wisconsin did recruiting them. So they got to continue to recruit the way that they have. They've got to play in the transfer portal, and they have to find ways to win NIL battles. I don't think NIL battles are as big as people think coming out of high school. So like Ohio State, as much as people want to think is a pay-for-play school, guess what? They're not giving guys pay for play. They're saying when you come in here, this is what's here for you.
Yeah.
Schools like Oregon, I probably can't say this stuff, but there's schools they're saying you come here and stay for 3 years, this is what you get. So Wisconsin, find a way to financially make it work. You find players who fit your system. You stick to your identity. You develop that identity. You coach their butts off. Wisconsin's a developmental program. They always have been. They always will be. And that's what you have to do. It doesn't matter. There's so much parity in college football today.
Yeah, which is good.
So much parity. NIL can work for everybody. Everybody. Yeah. D3 schools, it can work for. So you find the guys who fit your system. You find a way to get them. You find a way to pay them. And you find guys who love football. Because at the end of the day, James, would you rather win a championship or get a $100,000 bonus when you were playing? I know you want to win the Super Bowl.
Win that championship, man. When you win that championship, the money come with it. So
when you win, we win, we all win. I'm just saying, build that identity, recruit the guys that are recruiting. I know I worked with them closely when they were at Cincinnati. These dudes can recruit.
Yeah.
Maximus Steneker, I've said it. And I like him a lot, but it's not like we were childhood friends. He's a visionary. He knows what to do. So you put all these things in place. You look at the Wisconsin history. You look at what you're going up against moving forward. There's going to be parity. Not everybody can have a $20 million roster like some, or whatever $1 million is.
Yeah.
But not everybody's going to have that. But even in baseball, like you can have a $500 million roster. Don't mean you're going to win.
Yeah.
So you find a way with the guys you have, with the program you have, with the, the resources you have, and you win. It goes back to playing ball. Do we love ball? Do we want to win together? And do we want to beat your ass? Everyone needs to get their ass kicked at some point. We got our ass kicked today. And I think you wake up and you say, you know what? It didn't feel good, but it wasn't that bad. So let's go out and, go a little harder.
Don't let it happen again.
Yeah. But y'all can see it though, man. Look in Michigan, man. Look, they just won a national championship, but you see how they out there bull jiving right now. So look, everybody go through their little ups and downs. That team, I don't know how many football games they win, but they're gonna get challenged the rest of the year. They quarterback through 5 picks. They only won by such and such to Arkansas State. So everybody going through a little bit of something. So I just hope these guys find a way to dig themselves out. And I ain't gonna keep beating up on them as long as they fix it.
It ain't beating up. It ain't beating up on them yet. It's constructive criticism. It ain't beating up on them yet. It's constructive criticism. Now, this stuff happened, and we still having the same conversation week 10. We putting the gloves on. But right now, we chilling.
Still early.
Yeah, it's still early. Man. It's still early.
All right. Well, before we get out of here, what else caught your eye outside of Wisconsin? What was what caught your eye? Sojourn, I know you were locked in on South Carolina LSU today. Yeah, what else caught your eye this weekend? I stayed up last night watching Kansas State, Arizona, and Kansas State putting a whooping on it. I remember Avery Johnson was a high school prospect, and Wisconsin was recruiting, and I was like, damn, that boy is good, and he is really good. What else stood out to you, though, Soj?
I'm going to go with Lil Manning, man, in Texas. I seen viewers get, bro. He had a day. I seen him. I seen him do a little. I seen him do a little read action. Clint, I ain't know he had that in him.
Hey, that's what 16 mil will do for you.
Hey,
when 67.
67?
Hey,
Yeah, when 67 yards.
Hey, Quinn Ewers went down. Them boys was
rushing.
I thought that was 67 M's.
No.
Quinn Ewers went down. Them boys was just fine.
Yeah, I ain't know.
That's another thing.
Manning's got some dog in him. It's just nobody was allowed to see it because he was handled the whole way through.
Yeah,
facts.
But today I think it was a dope day for college football. Colorado is right now putting a whooping on Colorado State with a trash day talk. I don't know what's the Georgia score. Georgia was
13-12.
13-12.
Georgia's in a dog fight.
But they got the ball right now.
What inning are they in?
On the fourth.
And James, you said it earlier. Like this year feels like, man, college football open for everybody. I don't care if it's Georgia, Bama. Like you really gonna have to get in that 12-team playoff and work.
Yeah.
And just overall, I mean, I know it's week 3, but I'm excited for just moving forward. Ball, man, you get to sit up and watch good games and games that that's gonna be meaningful. Florida State, they might need to burn. They might need to burn a dope down and
boy.
That's them boys spent all talk about NIL. They spent all that bread. That junk is not
getting their ass whooped.
Yeah, so they broke 2 other programs.
That's the bad investment right there. I'm hot.
You know who I was thinking about today? That I was like, man, Syracuse quarterback. Is it
McCord? McCord, solid player. He didn't play bad last year. They were frying him.
They didn't play bad. Took a team to 11-1. Like,
yep.
But that just show you the pressure that some of these programs have. Like, bro, you can't beat a certain team. We need your ass out of here. So you feel me? Like, but it's ball is good, man. It's a great time of the year, and
Yo, I had the game on here because I got I upgraded, got the YouTube TV and get the quad box of the games on at once. It's if you don't have it, I cannot recommend it enough. YouTube TV is not paying me to say this. I'm saying this completely voluntarily. YouTube TV is such a superior product to DirecTV. It is not even funny.
Oh, 100%.
Hey, Perko, if you can.
Yeah. Well, I am. So I'm watching. One of the games in the quad box is Tennessee-Kent State. Tennessee hung 65 in the first half. They had 44 points with just 5 minutes into the second quarter. Sweet, yes, okay, Kent State, but we struggled. Wisconsin struggled with a MAC team.
Western Michigan.
Yeah, and they just absolutely beat the brakes off of Kent State. Game finished 71-0. It was 65-0 at half, and it's just that kind of it's mind-blowing to see.
Hey, Matt, you think kids are going to Tennessee because Peyton Manning went there?
They're going there because Tennessee has a good NIL program. Tennessee's NIL is on point, dude. Tennessee's NIL game is super on point.
Nico's top 3.
I just know, I know it's a certain language that's getting in common with a lot of these teams that we think don't win the damn national championship. Ohio, and here's the thing, right? Ohio State would have hung 40 on that Bama team today.
Oh, hands down, bro.
So if we really, and Clint, you the expert with all this stuff. I'm just going off of what I hear down here because I'm in South Florida. This is the NIL hub.
Then you're hearing a lot.
You want to win? You better come down here.
Hey, I don't know about all that. Florida ain't winning right now. Florida getting smacked.
We ain't talking about University of Florida.
You talking about for recruiting?
Yeah,
I'm talking about for recruiting. If you want to win, you better come to the Tri-County, Palm Beach, Broward County, Dade County. You want to win? Recruit down here. They're different. But all the teams that we saying that you think gonna win in the national championship, it's a lot. It's something very in common with all those teams, and I don't see Wisconsin in it. We better figure it out.
Don't forget.
I'm gonna keep saying it too.
It's quad counties.
At least there's a big playoff now.
It's quad counties. It's Palm Beach. It's Dade. It's Broward, and it's St. Clair up in Bevel, Illinois.
It's not Tri-County. It's a whole other.
It's quad counties, bro.
Quad cities, and you know that's a fact.
Dude, we used to do our camp down at St. Thomas, and like dudes rolling in from everywhere. I'm like, what's your name? You're a senior receiver. Bro. No, I'm an 8th grade defensive end. I'm 6'5", 220, and I run a 4.5.
It's insane. You go ahead.
Hey, how long you been covering South Florida Express, man?
So
you know Brett. You know
yeah, everybody. No. So like Carnell Tate's my guy.
Ohio State connection with Brett.
So I've been around it for a minute now. And, okay. I know how things work. I love the 7-on-7 world. South Florida Express, Midwest Boom. Like, I love them all, man. There's a lot.
Hey, Clint. Hey, what's up with all these? I be catching them on social media, bro. What's up with all these 7-on-7 celebrations? Boy, selling out.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Hey, just next OT7 tournament. I mean, you're gonna see all kinds of stuff. Like,
we might have to bring the podcast out.
It's the Wild West right now.
Yeah, we might have to bring the podcast out of one of them 7-on-7. That'd be.
Let's do it. I will go there on point. Let's go.
Yeah. I went to one in South Florida, like right before the high school football season started. Them kids, a lot of talent, obviously. Them boys going back and forth. You know, they were acting like it was the regular season the way they playing the 7-on-7. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah, dude, that's like
what the boys say. I'm unstoppable.
Yeah, Cortez from Homestead. I forget it's Cortez. He committed to Oklahoma. What's his last name? Cortez. Something I can't think of his last name. He a baller though. He got hurt in the 7-on-7. So that's a bad part about it.
That's when it gets a bad rap.
Yeah. So tough part about it, man. But this was dope though, man. We got to do this again.
Before we leave, we got a last question. Clint, tell us what you think about Rivals and Yahoo.
Clint, as your legal advisor on the show, I'm going to highly recommend that.
I'm going to show the rings, and I'm going to say, "Hey, Sam Farber, good luck, buddy. Love y'all."
Peace. Hey, Cortez Kennedy, yeah, that boy, nice.
Yeah. Look, they know who it is, man.
Boy, nice.
All right.
So, thanks for
great question.
Another great Believe in Badgers money down game night. Even though it did not quite end up the way we wanted it to, still always great to hang out with y'all, take the questions from the people. We appreciate y'all tuning in live on 1900 here as we wrap up. So thanks y'all for hanging out, being active in the chat, and spending some time with us. We appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, rate, review, unsubscribe, resubscribe, re-rate, re-review. All that good stuff helps with the algorithm. Money down, Believe in Badgers. More content coming everywhere next week. But even though we lost, it's still all good. Until next time.
Until next time.
Wisconsin.
Y'all let us know if y'all want us to do a live show in Madison. Y'all think that'll be dope? Let us know in the chat. Let us know if y'all want that to happen, man.
We can all go.
Questions coming on Twitter, man. We here to answer them. We here to laugh and have fun, bro. Keep them coming.
This shit feel like game 7.
Game 7.
Put lines up through my essence. Wake up in the morning, count my blessings.